Welcome everyone, I'm Dale and this is Cinema Historia. A wandering family, a temporary Florida camp, and an upset commissioner. This week we're going back to 1962 for a musical comedy called Follow That Dream, starring Elvis Presley, Arthur O'Connell, and Anne Helm. And this is directed by Gordon Douglas. So where does our story begin this week? Well, our story begins in sunny Florida with the wandering family of the Kwimpers. The family is composed of Pop Kwimper, played by Arthur O'Connell, his good-natured son Toby, played by Elvis Presley, their 19-year-old babysitter named Holly Jones, played by Anne Helm, and 3 informally adopted children. Traveling in their family jalopy, Pop unpretentiously turns onto a side road, even though the sign says, another highway betterment project, closed to the public. Driving down an unopened section of a new highway, their car runs out of gas, making them stop on a sandy riverside beach. The Kwimpers intend to wait until a government vehicle passes by to help them out, and in the meantime they set up a temporary camp. Soon after, State Highway Commissioner H. Arthur King's vehicle arrives and is appalled that the Kwimpers' presence might negatively impact the day's dedication ceremony set for the governor of Florida. While King tries to have the family forcibly removed, the governor arrives in advance of the ceremonial parade. With their vehicle being past the 50-foot line of the road, Pop informs the governor that they are invoking the state's homesteading laws and plan to live near the highway permanently. The governor applauds the Kwimpers' pioneering spirit and tells the police to respect private property. Now homesteaders, Toby begins building a permanent home while at the same time an encounter with an avid fisherman, Holly gets an idea of getting a $2,000 bank loan to start building a thriving business catering to sport fishermen. Trouble soon follows, however, when 2 gamblers set up a casino trailer on the beach, technically falling outside the jurisdiction of any law enforcement. Sounds like trouble. So, do the Kwimpers become the owner of a thriving fishing business? Does a highway commissioner and a social worker named Alicia cause trouble? Or do 2 gamblers attempt to buy the Kwimpers' land and belongings, with Pop refusing to sell at any price? Released April 11th, 1962, this film reached number 5 on the Variety Weekly Box Office Survey, staying on the chart for 3 weeks. Producer Walter Mirisch liked the song, the film song Follow That Dream, and titled the picture accordingly. Here's an interesting note. Singer-songwriter Tom Petty claims that he first became obsessed with rock and roll after meeting Elvis and watching him act and sing during the making of this movie. Petty's uncle was a crew member working on the film. Shortly afterward, the 10-year-old Petty swapped his slingshot for a friend's collection of Presley records. Sounds like a good swap to me. And this is actually a pretty good Elvis movie, a great family film to watch for Family Day. And our trivia question this week is the story of our film based on a true story. Is the story of our film based on a true story? So, a little more history and the answer to our trivia question coming up next. The courtroom scene in the movie was filmed in the Citrus County Courthouse in nearby Inverness, Florida, making the courthouse the subject of this week's history. So the old Citrus County Courthouse is a historical site in Inverness, Florida, located at 1 Courthouse Square. Constructed in 1912, the courthouse was emblematic of the hopes the county leaders had for the community. This building would be stylish, modern, fireproof, and ready for electricity, which in those days made it an exciting glimpse into the future. In the summer of 1961, Elvis Presley came to Citrus County to film one of his earlier movies, Follow That Dream. A climactic scene in the film finds the family on trial in none other than the second-floor courtroom of the Citrus County Courthouse. Over the years, however, the prominence of the building dwindled as its unique architecture features, both inside and out, disappeared or were altered in the name of progress. With the growth of the county in the 1970s, the 1912 courthouse was replaced with a new, more modern one across the street. By the 1990s, deserted and shuttered, the 1912 structure seemed destined for demolition. Finally, some members of the community and the Citrus County Historical Society realized its value as a historical symbol and banded together to preserve it. In 1992, it was listed on the National Register of Historical Places, and an 8-year restoration process began. Since no historical photographs survived the original 1912 interior, architects and engineers restoring it had to rely on scenes and stills from the movie production, which was provided by MGM Studios. In 2000, to great fanfare, the building was officially reborn as the Old Courthouse Heritage Museum. Today, the building is more than just a symbol of the community's past. It is where the county's history in books, stories, photos, oral histories, and artifacts is housed. Anyone can research archives, students can discover their past, and citizens can participate in a bountiful variety of projects, activities, and cultural and civic events. Isn't that pretty cool? I'd love to go there and check out the second floor. And the answer to our trivia question this week: is the story of our film based on a true story? Well, yes it was. Yes, the novel the movie is based on, Pioneer Go Home, by American novelist Richard P. Powell, is based on a true story. After World War II, author Richard Powell moved to Fort Myers, Florida. Powell learned that the state had just built a bridge to Pine Island, and the fill used to build the bridge created a tract of land that did not exist on maps, but is now known as Matlacha. A group of squatters moved onto the land, building shacks and started small businesses. Eventually, the state granted property titles to the squatters. Isn't that interesting? It'd be nice to find a tract of land like that today. I'd like to give a big thank you to my viewers and subscribers this week. I added a couple of links below to another couple of movies I did that were Elvis movies. Girl Happy from 1965. And a Western called Flaming Star from 1960. Please click the links below. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you soon.